What are you waiting for?
Come join the Geek Drunk Nation.
Boo.
What is up, people? Hold on, let me get in formation.
What are we? Some kind of Justice League?
I was thinking that too.
I'm in the wrong crew.
I only have one thing to say about this. I only have one thing to say about this whole little crew, and just like Ben Grimm said back in that horrible Finn Forstick movie, it's fantastic.
Yep.
It's just fantastic. We all look fantastically ridiculous.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
I can stand
Well,
Talk
behind that.
about yourself, why don't you?
Except for Taz and Darren.
My man.
I mean, I got my, I'm repping the Superman.
Yeah.
All you needed was your camera angle to be about here. And you
Oh
nailed it.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I could have. No, actually, I think I have a cape back there somewhere. I could have grabbed
Yes.
This thing is hot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, bit's over.
Yeah.
We're gonna-
Oh, I've been waiting for the Barbie movie, guys. Oh, I'm so excited.
Hey, low-key, I am too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
no,
even
it looks
lie.
great.
Like
I
Barbie
can't
in the
wait.
real world, and Will Ferrell wants to just shove her back in a box.
Okay.
I'm taking
Hey.
off the suit. Hold on.
Bit's over. Everyone,
It's over. They can't handle it.
Listen, it's like the DCEU. As soon as we got the Justice League, they were gone.
We got that screenshot, and now we're good.
I'll keep it a cowl.
Possibly, but the con is still on, and I'm still going for the experience. I wasn't going to get in the Hall H. I'm not camping outside. What do I look like? I am a 30. I'll be 31. I'm not going to sit outside for Hall H. I just want to walk the floor, possibly go to that Spider-Man museum, and just enjoy San Diego. Just say I've been to Comic-Con to say I've been there,
Yeah.
The only way I was gonna find out news is me sitting on my phone, like just at one of the kiosks or whatever. I'm sure they'll still have those, and it's really cool because, well, the badges are the boys theme this year. So
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah, we got the Gen V badges on Saturday. So
Feeling left out, Taz.
I still gotta watch it. I will. Trust
you
me.
you haven't watched the boys?
I've seen clips. I will understand references, but
I've
I've
been
not
trying to get this
sat
man for
down
the last
and
month and a
finished
half.
it. I need
Dude,
to.
you are missing out.
I
You're
know.
gonna
I
love
know.
it.
I am. I know. I'm just waiting for a nice time when there's nothing new coming out and I can just sit down, relax, binge watch it all. I'm excited too.
Understandable. But guys, this is a special edition because I was busy yesterday. So we're gonna jump right into things because we want to be done by about like in an hour. Just a quick one today because Superman and Lois is back for his penultimate episode. We want to make sure everybody is seated and ready for that. So speaking of Superman and Lois, last week we got the news, and the
Perfect
news
timing.
just kept on coming. Literally, the whole supporting cast is gone. Wole Parks made a post talking about looking for work. Dylan Walsh, his wife, confirmed that he and Emmanuel are they're gone. So Indy Navarrete said she's sticking around. The actor for Kyle, he said he's sticking around, recurring roles possibly. How are we feeling about that? Me personally, I'm not hurt, but at the same time, like, I love John Irons. Like, when I found out it was him, I still remember screaming to the top of my lungs. So yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, that's probably the best interpretation of that character we're ever gonna get.
Yeah.
And to think that story is basically done, like, that breaks my soul because I really wanted to see the symbol. I wanted to see the red cape. I wanted the whole shebang, man. I wanted the reign of Superman. and they teased that shit back in beginning of season 2. So to not fulfill that idea, the show could have definitely pulled it off. That makes me sad. I think I think a lot of people talk about like the core of the show. Obviously, that's the Kent family, but like the next best thing is the Irons. They're the best. So that one's a big that hurts, man.
Yeah, I mean, oh, sorry.
So, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it doesn't come as a massive shock to me that we are losing pretty much the entire supporting cast here. We knew that going into season 4, we were going to have budgetary constraints and everything like that. And that was something that we speculated on when we first got the news as well, that we would be losing a lot of these supporting characters. And just to have that confirmed, that they won't be regulars, that, you know, we might see them for a couple episodes here or there, but they won't be massive parts of the story going forward. It's definitely sad to hear, but that definitely means that we will be focusing more on just the Kent family and then Lex Luthor as our big bad next season, and we're going to just be going all in on that direction with just a much more focused story, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I think this is either going to be the best thing or the worst thing to ever happen, like to the show. You know what? It's really funny because I feel like this scenario is what people wanted from like The Flash for like the last 5 years. And I think that's really, really funny. Yeah, I mean, I think focusing on those main 4 and then Lex could be really, really sick. But again, I do think a big part of what makes Superman is seeing the world that he affects, is seeing how his actions affects the Irons and then Smallville and Lana. Again, I think it could be really cool, but also it could just feel empty and weird. Like I don't know if you guys remember like COVID type shows. Like a lot of the shows just felt empty because there is no people around. There's no like citizens. There's no anything like that. And I feel like that could be like what the show looks like now.
Yeah. 3 dubs.
Yeah. Just,
3 dubs.
Wow. Yeah, John Henry Irons. It's the first live action and possibly the only live action that we're ever going to see until like someone wises up and adds them into the DCU. But yeah, it's a bittersweet. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge fan of this Steel, and I was. Even though he was Captain Luther, I kind of wanted Captain Luther, but then I got something better, and I'm like, okay, let's go with this one. And then, but yeah, it's I'm extremely sad.
Did you cry though?
No,
I
but I
really
did
sad.
cry. I did cry for Natalie though.
Understandable. You know who I cried for? The fact that we have to deal with this humongous Lex just like tossing Tyler Hoechlin around for 10 episodes. I feel so bad for him because he's not gonna win a fight until the last episode. I guarantee you that.
It would be kind of funny if this Lex just kills everyone in Smallville to write them off.
It's just an empty set.
And he said, boom.
Kyle and Sarah, and that's it. I will say there's something very sad about me. Like as much as I like Kyle, because I do enjoy Kyle sometimes, but like a world where we have Kyle and not Sam kind of makes me very sad.
It's weird.
Yeah, no, it's very weird.
We
And
have Kyle and Sarah, but
Yeah.
no Lana.
That's why I think we're definitely leaving Smallville, because like I think there are things I'd be like, well, she's mayor and she can't leave Smallville because she's mayor and stuff, and Kyle and Sarah just going like they're just like on vacation or something.
Omega, we're about to get to that. I wouldn't say ever, but
Hava.
it surprised me.
We
It
wouldn't
surprised
say
me.
ever and forever.
Nah, but Iris, Candace Patton said she was gone
Yeah.
at the end of season 9 anyway, so it would have just been like Arrow season 8.
Are
It'd
we
be like-
saying that Cecile's the equivalent to Kyle? Because that's not the case. I'd much
Oh,
rather see
I'll
Kyle.
take
grilling
Kyle any
fucking
day.
hot dogs
Yeah.
and
I
see
believe,
Cecile.
I believe that's what he was getting at.
Nah, no way.
Without
Like
Iris
Chester, I think.
there, it would be kind of funny with Barry just like walking into the home and go, "Hi, honey, I'm home," and then like, "I'm going out to. There's an alert for a metahuman attack. I gotta go."
Imagine though, it's just like it's a season where it's like Barry, Iris, Cisco, Wally. Oh, chef's kiss. Like that.
Damn.
Those four. Mwah.
If only.
Hey,
In
Kane
another
Bass is
timeline.
Before we jump into the Flash thing, I was just thinking about the whole Comic-Con thing and how Marvel is skipping. I'm not shocked, seeing as though they went last year and like it was their proper return, and then they dropped like everything, and then we learned out throughout this year that they're scaling everything back.
Yeah, no.
They don't have anything to show.
So is D23 still happening though, right?
Yeah, I think
They're probably waiting till 2020.
I
Yeah,
think
they'll
they're
probably
waiting
do
till
everything.
D23. They don't really have anything to show.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be the Fantastic Four casting, if
you
anything.
need that.
And
That's-
honestly, yeah,
That's,
I
and
would've
that's good. That's good.
I would've
enough. That will
expected
get
that.
people okay, yeah.
I would have expected that at San Diego Comic-Con, but this isn't the first time that they skipped San Diego
Yeah.
Comic-Con.
Mhm.
Like this isn't unheard of. Like I expected it, one, because of the writer strike and the potential of the like the actor strike or whatever. But like I said, I'm not gonna be like I'm going on vacation with my wife. Like
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con is just an added bonus because we got in, but do you really think she's gonna say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna sleep outside and wait to get in the Hall H tomorrow"? No, I'm not waiting in that line. Like I'm gonna be like video blogging the whole time, just content for the channel. I'm just gonna be like filming and walking past like Hall H and be like, "What's gonna be me?" And yes, Amethyst, they are not coming to San Diego Comic-Con. Now, I don't think they'll have a presence. Like, well, I mean, I think they'll have a presence or whatever, possibly like some kiosks, some stands or whatever. I don't know what goes on when you're walking the floor at like the main floor in Comic-Con. I've never been. But I expect some Marvel presence, just not a Hall H. That's just that. I mean, I would have probably been in the back of Hall H, just I don't know. It's just not me. I'm just glad that they still sent out the badges and that it's still happening. Even if it wasn't happening, I'd still be going to San Diego.
I wonder if DC's doing anything because this was like the first year they could like drop bombs. Like they have a lot.
They could drop bombs.
Yeah.
But that's literally, and we're about to jump in. They've dropped 3 bombs in a row. So, it's sad to say,
Yeah.
because like I love DC, but they've literally dropped 3 bombs in a row. Hopefully in August it won't be a 4th. Like DC could really use San Diego Comic-Con to promote the hell out of Blue Beetle. Even if it's a smaller panel or something. Oh, it's Biscuit.
Oh.
I don't know if that's the cat's name or not. I just made something up.
That's Annie.
Oh.
Her middle
I was
name
like,
is
you
Buffalo
really know
Chicken
this
Wing.
cat.
And any buffalo chicken wing?
Why are you familiar with this cat?
I don't know. Also, before we jump into did anybody see that trailer for that new Zendaya movie?
Mm-mm.
I saw a couple of frames.
Wow. Is Tom Holland okay with this?
Do I need to do my research or
She's kissing 2 dudes in this movie, and she's like a tennis player, and it's these 2 guys that are like
It's called acting.
she's like head over heels for them, but it's not a role. It's not a role that you expect Zendaya to do. So it kind of like I said, is this porn? I think this is porn. I think this qualifies as porn. I think we're watching a porno.
How
Oh
would
my
you
God.
know?
I'm glad you're not monetized. Yeah.
I was watching. I was in my work truck just watching the trailer, and I was just like, I said, Zendaya. No. I said, guess she said, well, Spider-Man 3 is not happening yet. So, Spider-Man 4 is not happening yet. So let me get this out my system. No, but
There's no way home from that.
I'm glad she's working. I'm glad that Tom just did some creepy movie. You know, he just dropped a very, very
What
dead
Lance
joke.
is saying is just link to OnlyFans.
Yeah, basically.
Link
Hello,
to
Laura.
OnlyFans.
But
Good.
yeah. Also, Secret Invasion does start tomorrow. I'll be covering that.
Are they releasing 2 episodes for that?
I don't know.
I
Is
think
my
it's
camera
one.
fuzzy? It says
little
my
bit.
Ethernet. It says my Ethernet is connected, but it looks fine on my end. I don't know.
Check your settings for your resolution.
Oh, I was in here before I reconnected it. That's why. I probably got to do that again. Hold on. I'll BRB. But before I jump out, start the Flash discussion. The movie was not bad. Like, honestly, I found myself laughing from beginning to end. And I thought it was a good one of the better entries for the DCEU. It didn't take itself too seriously, but it also did not like feel like a big joke like majority of Shazam 2 did. I gave the movie a solid 8 out of 10. I understand that, you know, the Chrono Bowl sequences with the inside the Speed Force, they were supposed to look CGI. The only thing that took me out with that is because half the time Barry looked like he was running in reverse, like he was bicycling backwards, and I feel as if you could have just thrown in scenes from films like the TV show did. I didn't think you had to recreate majority of that stuff with, you know, CGI. I understand why he did it because it's supposed to look distorted, but after we've went through cartoons and, you know, 9 seasons of a show where Barry's running in the Speed Force and everything looks normal, it takes you out of it. Especially since we've seen Barry run through the Speed Force before with you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that never happened. Like, I understand, you know, different directors, different interpretations. The whole thing with Aquaman using air bubbles in Zack Snyder, and then, you know, in Aquaman, you know, they're just underwater talking like it's the Little Mermaid. That's the only thing that took me out. And sometimes with the 2 berries, I'm like, okay, bro, you look like clay. I'm like, some like that kept taking me out, because I'm like, okay, your face is literally sitting on top of the cow right now. And honestly, Ezra carried in both dual Barry Allen roles, but since we already established that you do not have to look the same in every universe, me personally, it would have played better and different if, you know, the body double for the second Barry Allen looked different. You know, just say this one looks, he's younger anyway, so I think that would have worked better. That would have solved the CGI issue.
Should have just been Grant. You know.
I don't know when he would have had time to do that.
It would have been difficult.
Cancel the show.
Yeah,
I would have been fine.
I mean, honestly, they were filming during COVID. They filmed the movie when the show wasn't filming.
Yeah,
like,
true.
majority of the
I
time.
mean, true. But like,
Would you
that's
rather
a lot.
have season
Like,
9 of The Flash or him in the movie? I'm going for the movie, honestly. Because
Yeah,
I did
me
not
too.
like season 9.
Yeah.
I understand because I know you're not that big of a fan of this movie, so that's okay. I understand completely.
yeah, no,
I'm not
I mean,
either.
I don't disagree.
You
I mean, I would have loved to have that to have
Yeah,
had him
right,
in
right.
here, but like,
I would have liked him to change the history and then him come back as Grant. That would have been hilarious.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, if they had Grant as the second Barry, this movie would have been a completely
really
different. It would have been
Yeah.
really cool, but it would have been a completely different
Yeah.
movie. Like the whole story of just the main Barry Allen learning about where he kind of came from as far as like being this like annoying younger Flash and kind of
Yeah.
seeing where he needed to change, like that obviously wouldn't have happened if Grant was that, you know, that younger Barry. But I do like
Sure.
the idea
No,
that,
I
you know,
needed-
maybe he messes things up so much that he just becomes Grant Gustin at the end of the movie. That would have been
Sure.
hilarious.
I needed Grant to be that older Barry because
Mm.
Grant is
That would've
that
been cool.
older. Grant is that older Barry. If we and that's one of the things, guys. This is spoiler filled, and we're trying to, we got like another good 40 minutes. So we're gonna really jump into this
Mhm.
thing. How do I sound, by the way? Do I sound normal?
You
or is
sound
it
good,
still
man.
a
Yeah,
little,
you
still a little
sound good.
hoarseness?
Little
you-
like
a little
it's coming
raspy
back.
still?
It's coming
Okay.
back.
This has been very annoying. But that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about the film is learning that this Barry got his powers much younger.
hmm
He got his job much younger. And the lab did kind of sort of remind me of the CCPD from the TV show. And by this Barry, by all accounts, I would say that this is the youngest Barry Allen in the multiverse that has gotten his powers, because in the original timeline of the TV show, Barry didn't get his powers until he was like, what, 30 something?
Yeah, I think like
Then you
30,
turn around
31.
and so then you turn around in the
24.
show and
24. The Flash TV show, he was 24.
no, the original timeline.
The original
Barry.
timeline, yeah.
Yeah, when you got it in like
Oh.
2020 or whatever.
Yeah. So that would have
Yeah,
made him,
so-
I think,
What
like
a
30,
year.
31, something
So
like that.
yeah, he was like 31, and then you turn
Yeah.
around and he was actually 22 when he got his powers in
COVID side effects.
this
Okay, fine,
timeline.
21. He was 21.
Darren.
So when
You want one up me?
when that happened, I'm like, whoa, he got his powers way young, which is why he's so immature with them at times. That is hilarious. I laughed, but my oldest started crying in that scene.
Oh.
She's like, this could be my baby, because she's like, this could be Avery. Avery's my like youngest daughter. This could have been Avery. I said, oh, come on. I was laughing so hard because, and I'm like, I'm like, why is he not pushing them? He doesn't know how to control his speed like that,
Mhm.
which is why he needs the suit to do it. Which is why I think this Barry would benefit from learning from Jay Garrick,
John
learning
Wesley
from
Shipp would've been cool.
learning from Grant Gustin's Barry, learning from a John Wesley Shipp Barry Allen from Earth 90, just learning from another speedster who got his powers, at a different stage in life. And by all accounts, like even with Wally was like 18-ish, 20-ish when he got his powers, right? They're the same age. This Barry didn't have anybody to learn from. He's trying to learn it all himself. Now, he did an excellent job training young Barry, as I like to call him. He did an excellent job training his Kid Flash,
Mhm.
which by all accounts, that's what he was. He was Kid Flash. Excellent job training him. Told him how to, siphon that lightning or whatever, how it wouldn't build up too much of a charge. He needs a no, that's a chicken sandwich that I did not finish eating, Eric. Would you like some deep dish pizza though? You can always come to Chicago and we do like just a random stream, you DJing in the background, playing a little Cara Delevingne in the background or something. I just thought a little Taylor Swift gets me going. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it would have been cool to see like a older mentor figure, knowing that our Barry was an older mentor figure, but
Mhm.
he still needed that mentoring. He's learned to control his powers a little bit better, but when he ran and found out that it was a whole like that he could just view the different events in the world and stick his head in and out of it. Like when he stuck his head in and saw himself saving the babies, I wanted his past self to like sense that and just turn around and be like, what? So it was so many missed opportunities in that. But what did you guys feel about that? Like, how do you feel about this Barry being that young when he got his powers and, as opposed to how the TV show did it?
I will say I really like, because obviously I with the Flash, there's never been a movie. So I always thought it was weird that this Barry never got like a origin story, right? I always thought like your like casual audience needed that. I think this movie did a really interesting thing with that, where it's like they did that backwards, where like they told the origin story of the Flash through the looking glass of this younger Barry, seeing this older Barry and how he got his powers and his history and how his mom died, and him training to use his powers and all that fun stuff. And I did appreciate it because you also kind of got to see how this Barry has grown since the first Justice League movie, without actually seeing this character on screen.
Daddy level 200.
I was wondering that too, Eric.
I think it's because by the time that they were done, he was so hungry. That's why he had to steal that hot dog from Andy Muschietti on the way to the courthouse.
I mean, first of all,
they carbo loaded on spaghetti.
That is true too.
That was young Barry though. That's why he was able to do it.
And then went back to the store that he was getting his breakfast from, and then ate again.
My wife's laughing at me. My wife is laughing at me. All right. First of all, this movie has some of the best comedy in it. I laughed at every joke, and
especially this one.
Yeah,
I know it exists, but I haven't experienced it.
I hated that.
Really?
That was like the only joke that didn't land for me.
I didn't like that joke either.
That joke, it landed for me because then when you find out that younger Barry is going on a date with, like, how didn't his younger self see him right there?
I didn't.
Like, how didn't he see himself popping out?
It was in the Flash.
So he was in Flash time.
Listen,
faster than the Flash.
Barry putting a baby in a microwave made me laugh so hard. Okay, it was hilarious to me. That scene was so funny. Like I don't care. Like that was the one like scene where I'm like, okay, the CGI, because like for me the CGI. Okay, let me rephrase. I give the movie like a 6. I think a 6 is about where I stand with the movie because even if I like a majority of like what the film is trying to do, what Andy is trying to do, that doesn't mean it's successful. If 95% of your movie is unfucking watchable, I can't give it like a great score. The CGI is rough. But seeing those CGI babies in that dog, for some reason, it just was like, that was like a pass for me. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I think it's so funny.
Now, I'll say the CGI with the babies, it was okay. But the dog looked terrible. The dog looked, when the dog landed and it's the real dog, when it's the real dog sitting on the thing, I'm like, bro, that's not the same dog.
Not the same dog.
That is not the same dog.
Yeah.
So
only one dog could have the tongue out.
First of all, Barry in this running style, Barry, I understand you're trying to dissipate the speed force even more because it seems like when this Barry is running, it seems like the charge automatically just goes to his hands. Like his hands were glowing the entire time. I'm like, that never happened before. Like, why is the speed force just being concentrated to your hands? Like you can just run up on somebody and just zap them. Like, you're not Black Lightning. You're not Static Shock. You're not Miles Morales. The lightning should be around you. And it seems to me like Andy Muschietti and Zack Snyder, I won't even say they understand the speed force, but the way they're taking it is literally, it's a force of nature, and they're making it really, really destructive. The scene where Barry did the whole, where Kid Flash, that's how I'm make them different when I'm talking about. Where Kid Flash did the whole Speedy Gonzalez thing and took off running down the street. First of all, the CGI in that scene, like everything, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Now, what I did not like is, bro, your lightning is tearing the city apart. Like, you're not even thinking about that. Like, we've never seen. And that's where you get the differences between directors. Because with Zack Snyder, Barry's lightning was chaotic, but it never left a wave of destruction. Not like that. And I get
Mark 1.
Yeah, and I get it. You
and
can't
blows
control it.
out
Yes,
windows.
yes, your clothes will get burnt up. We've seen that in the TV show, but this Barry literally how
I
many
mean,
people
see-
died in that scene? It was hilarious. And seeing him run regular, I'm like, bro, if you're gonna have this Barry run regular,
Oh, are we talking about like moral ramifications? Is that what we're discussing? Is
Yeah,
that the
like-
topic? Because
like,
I came
I-
in like in the middle of all this.
yeah, like basically, I'm talking about like
because there's a
how-
lot more shit that you're not even talking about that was.
Oh, there's
really
so
bad.
much.
Yeah.
Like,
So
First of all, he erased several Bruce Waynes and doesn't seem
Yeah.
to give a shit about it.
yeah,
how do you not learn your? How do you have an? Oh God, it's like Homecoming. It's like Homecoming. You have an entire character arc just to say fuck it, we forgot
Yeah.
it existed because he's like, I have to go back. Like seeing him past self get killed. He's like, all right, I'm gonna fix this. But you know what? Those tomatoes, we go put those on the.
He
top
also
shelf.
doesn't even seem to
Yeah.
care that people that were in school with him, that were not in school, but I guess working with him at the lab, now have a horrible life and live in the dorm with him or in this apartment with him, and they have this gross existence. It's not addressed at all.
yeah.
At all.
And also, I guess Eric Wallace was trying to. He must have seen the movie and said, "You know
Oh,
what?
dear God.
I want to bring that into season 10." Patty and Albert. He must have got it from the movie. He got it from the movie. That was weird. It was weird, and they felt forced into the Flashpoint storyline.
Does this mean that the Batman '89 movie only exists because of this Barry Allen?
Most likely. You guys keep talking. I got to run my kids outside real quick.
I mean, I assume because of the way it was explained that this Batman exists now because of what Barry did.
I don't know.
Wait, so
The spaghetti explainer is weird, right? So
Mhm.
I kind of was under the assumption that the Batman 89 that we see in this movie isn't exactly like Batman 89 from that movie, but like
Okay.
a version of him from the multiverse that kind of has a similar backstory, similar, things that had happened to lead him to this point. Possibly this like multiversal destruction could lead to that universe being its own thing, but I never I didn't interpret it that way as far as like that it was the same Batman. I just thought it was like a very similar one.
I interpret it as them rewriting his, like, Thomas Wayne had like another Mary, like that, obviously to get a different face. As he changed his time and it made a ripple and it changed his face. Not like he didn't travel to a multiverse or another Earth with that Bruce Wayne, and he traveled like on his Earth and just rewrote his face.
Well, see, that's the issue though, because when we talk about Elseworlds, you could explain like a Batman being older or younger because it's a completely different world. But when you're talking about a timeline, that's a change that just can't happen. It just can't.
Yeah.
There's no way for that to happen because that would mean that characters would have to be born prior to them being born. Their parents would have to be born prior to them. Like there's a process to that just doesn't make sense unless it's a different Earth.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea that I got, especially from that explainer, that it seemed like they were doing more multiverse travel than even time travel.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's almost like an Avengers Endgame style.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're time traveling and you're hopping universes at the same
Which
time.
confuses me, Taz, because
Yeah.
I knew that Marvel combined time travel and multiverse together with like the branching timelines creating other Earths.
Yeah.
I got that, but I didn't think DC would go that route because time
Right,
travel
it's
and
weird.
Elseworlds have never been the same thing. Because
Yeah.
now this opens the door to the fact that we've seen these other Earths while he's inside the Speed Force. And he's doing that. We see these other versions, but we also know that Matt Reeves' Batman is an Elseworld story. Does that mean that that's canon to like the DCU now? I mean,
Maybe. Like it.
Which
Possibly.
Batman we're talking about?
the Matt Reeves,
Matt
the Robert
Reeves.
Pattinson. Yeah.
Oh,
Because
No.
if we're talking about the possibility that this Batman and George Clooney's Batman could exist, then
I mean, it's like I think everything technically exists under the same multiverse, same as they were trying to get the point with that in Crisis as well. Was like everything exists within one singular DC multiverse.
yeah.
what if this is trying to like retcon the like because Mike, Batman 89 is supposed to have like a 5-movie story arc or whatever, because the common denominator being Alfred and Commissioner Gordon being the same
Right.
person. And then we have like 2 different faces of Batman.
Right, you're right.
That made no sense. Like,
But it's the same issue with Christopher Reeve and Brandon Routh.
I'm like,
Right. It's because they're technically the same person, or
Yeah.
supposed to be the same version of Superman.
yeah, it's
And I don't believe
was
it.
Weird. It was weird. Like seeing, like I didn't want to believe the George Clooney thing at first. I guess I got to give it up to
I mean,
Grace. You got something right, Grace. As much as it
that-
pains me to say.
For me, George Clooney being the DCEU Batman is kind of like a funny coincidence, because if it was like Christian Bale, I would be upset. Like they they gave the worst Batman to DCEU. So,
And that's just the thing. Why would James Gunn allow this to be the post-credit scene when you know good and well you're going to recast? You're going to recast Bruce Wayne.
It's so confusing.
I don't know. I think maybe you just because I like to have fun with my movies. I like the joke here. I like the joke that he steps out of the car and it's like, it's the fucking worst one. Like universally.
Sure.
Now I like Batman and Robin. I grew up on that shit. I love that movie. It's funny, but like it's campy. But like that's universally like he's the worst one. That's hilarious. But like you can't end the audience's experience in the theater with that notion they think he's going to be the Batman moving forward.
Yeah.
And that post-credit scene, you fix that shit and you show the new DCU. I'm not talking like seeing actors or anything. I'm talking you show motherfucking Metropolis and it looks like the comics. You show Gotham, it looks like the comics. We just know we're going into a new world and it looks like the comics. It looks like a comic book world. We go from there because that would separate the DCEU from what we're actually getting, because this didn't feel like a setting up point for the DCU at all. It felt like, okay, we're gonna see Flash 2 with fucking George Clooney. Like that's what it felt like.
This kind of felt like Apocalypse to me, like how they ended it with the Flash running to change the world, and then we get Tomorrowverse. It's kind of like that, except for it's stopping with George Clooney and then just refreshing.
Yeah, like you should have had another final run where Barry does something else. Like he goes back and he takes the goddamn tomatoes away, fix the character arc you just broke, and then we get the new DCU.
I mean, honestly, they could like it's like Kata said earlier. If you wanted to change something, you didn't have to move the tomato. Like honestly, if you were to change anything, just run and whisper in your dad's ear while he's at the store. Keep the receipt or something,
just act like a crazy person. Be like they're always watching. So then he then looks around like, is this guy
exactly?
There he goes.
Like, I don't think that would change anything that dramatically. But like, bro, like you thought it was gonna be smart. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put the world back to normal. You put it back somewhat, and then boom, no Supergirl, or we don't know who Supergirl is gonna be in this new universe. We don't know who Superman is gonna be in this universe. George
I have
Clooney,
my choice.
I do too. George Clooney pops out of a car. Now, how you didn't reckon? You knew that didn't sound like Ben Affleck. You knew it didn't sound like Michael Keaton. They're like, oh yeah, Bruce, it went well. Everything went well. Also, he like stealing the hot dog from Andy Muschietti. His constant need to eat in the intake, that was chef's kiss.
I like that.
You would think that he would figure out a way because, well, from all accounts, this Barry Allen is supposed to be. Are we going to assume he's smart since he works in a crime lab?
I mean, they tried to show that in the Batcave. They tried to show that. I also want to point out that idea of eating food disappeared in the third act.
Yeah.
It just vanished. Like it was not even a factor. So you mean to tell me that the brand new Barry Allen can run till he's an old man and never have to refuel? Okay.
I mean, he was eating so much Kryptonian tech that was getting lodged in him.
Honestly, the stuff like him like missing the phase, and I'm like, Barry, You literally stopped this man earlier because you yelled at him, you insulted him, you told him you're not good with people, but you can't control him now. Bro, hit him with some lightning. Like, you're not even trying. Like, you're standing there watching him get impaled with Kryptonian technology, and he's just like he don't. I'm sitting there. I'm like, dude, like, phase this big old shard of whatever out of your arm.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like he runs up on. I stopped mid phase.
That was
Whoa.
Andy getting his Savitar vibes on with that one. He's like, I'm gonna give him a blade
you
on his
stop
arm,
mid
so.
phase, and then when Dark Flash showed up, first of all, Dark Flash looks way better than the Funko Pops and the toys.
Yeah.
They did that design dirty with the toys. I mean, it looked pretty. It looked pretty cool in the movie. I'm not gonna lie, it looked pretty cool. Okay,
Especially with the purple lightning.
yeah, that was really sick. I wish we would have gotten more with him.
He literally had a pizza face.
It's consistent.
It's good, like
Every
literally.
time a Barry Allen becomes evil, it's pizza face. It's
And it's
That
like
makes sense.
it's like the way he was talking. I'm like, wait, so is that Ezra playing him? And then he started talking. I'm like, okay, now I hear it. Ezra playing legit 3 roles in this entire movie. I think they nailed it. Like,
Can we explain how Dark Flash exists though? Because think about this. But I'm thinking, like, why is it that Barry and Barry both were running in and out of the Speed Force like during that battle? And we saw them seeing other versions of themselves, right? So they were seeing other versions of themselves there. So we know that's possible. But how did this Dark Flash intersect them in their own chronosphere or whatever it is? How did that happen? Because technically when he ran into the Speed Force, he would be in his own chronosphere, not in the one with Barry and Barry.
I feel like there's a lot you could take from that third act, because keeping that same logic, how many times you have to assume he went back to that same battle? That battle, I want to see that perspective, because how many
flashes were there?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
We should have seen that. I feel like we were missing some.
We should have
sort of,
seen
like,
20
final
flashes.
conflict.
I mean, why run back to the battle when you could run back before the battle?
Right. That was my biggest thing, is like they can time travel anywhere at any time. Why go back to the beginning of this thing when you could have gone back further, warned them like, hey, maybe we should do this from a different approach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Bring
maybe
the
let's go find
calorie
some
thing back.
kryptonite. Let's, do something.
I would say, like, just like you can bring back the idea, like they can't travel back so far because of their calorie intake, but then that only gives you so many attempts. You know what I mean? At least that would connect some tissue. Like, we can only rewind like 20 minutes, dude. We're fucked.
Now speaking of the battle,
Yeah.
Feora and Zod, that whole Krypton, they were not needed, and now I see why Michael Shannon said what he said.
I completely agree with what he said.
Bro,
I mean,
did you film for a day and that was it?
Did he film? Because it sure didn't feel like it.
Because he never took the bubble shield off of his face. And if I remember correctly, in Man of Steel, they didn't get their powers until they took the helmets off anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So
They
what
were
was up with that?
extremely depowered, and they still got to kill Supergirl 20 times.
I was confused why she got so winded after hitting him like 3 times.
I think it's
I
just
was
because
in
she
that
was
It
in
was
the
just so much,
facility for
like,
so long, she just never
Yeah.
had a chance to fully
I
power up.
laughed out loud when she picked up, like, I guess like it was the head of the barrel of the tank, and just was like, ugh.
Well, I want to say this also, that
I said, wow.
apparently, according to like what we've heard, her character was fleshed out a lot more, and they cut out a lot of those scenes.
Yeah.
So
it felt like she was the Wonder Woman, like how Wonder Woman was in BVS.
Like BVS, yeah.
She should have had, as much as they were advertising her and putting her on the posters or whatever, she should have been in this film more, because I loved this interpretation of Kara Zor-El. People were talking, you got the weirdos talking about she's not blonde. Who cares? Supergirl on the TV show was a brunette for the longest. Like, she did not dye her hair fully blonde. I don't care what color. Barry Allen does not have black hair. Now, which one of those haircuts was the legit one? Because old Barry's hair gave me like bad wig vibes.
The blonde erasure is real. The blonde erasure is real. Like, all the blonde characters keep getting replaced with dark haired characters. So
Yeah, I'm like I thoroughly enjoyed Sasha Calais. I hope she gets to reprise this role in Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like if James Gunn is smart, if Zaslav is smart, they will let. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
Actually,
what?
I don't
We already
want.
know they're
Actually,
not.
I don't want Woman of Tomorrow anymore. I want to see a Supergirl movie with her that is a unique story of her character that doesn't require her to do a comic book story, because the Woman of Tomorrow Supergirl is very different. And instead of them trying to fit this Sasha Calle Supergirl into that story, just ditch that and give us a Supergirl story with this version of Supergirl.
Yeah.
She needs to be Supergirl moving forward. Like you said,
Yeah.
how heavy she was in the marketing, that's a big fuck you to her if you
Yep.
used her as a crutch for the
Yeah.
marketing, not to use her moving forward. While like she has such little screen
This
time, right?
would be
How many
Batgirl
people are
driven.
talking about her? There's a lot of people talk. I didn't think I was going to be talking about her coming out of the movie, but I was like, with what little screen time we got, like it's barely anything. It is just a taste, a nibble, if you will.
I think
of
she's
her
in 10
potential.
minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Like
it's
10 minutes of the
nothing.
movie.
But I was still so engaged with her because I just seeing up until the release of this movie how passionate she was back at that Zoom call where Andy said she was casted, her describing her character and shit. And it's like, that's what I want from these actors playing these characters, is someone who gives a fuck about the character. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to see her wasted, because she will be extra wasted if we don't see her again.
And she studied the past Supergirls, especially Melissa Benoist, knowing that she's talked to Melissa, knowing that she's talked to Henry.
Yeah.
She did her homework. They fully support her. If WB gives her the big FU and just like writes her off, I'm hearing that. Oh, I talked to Peter Safran. How many times have we heard that?
Yeah.
Henry
No,
kept
it just makes me so upset.
Zachary
We have
Levi.
a list growing of these great actors. I don't care what you think about Ray Fisher personally, but that performance in Justice League was fucking amazing. He is the heart of that movie. That Victor Stone is so good. We have Leslie Grace as Batgirl, who we're never going to see. Leak that movie as soon as possible.
I don't think it's fully destroyed. I honestly,
I want to say right
I don't
now,
think it's
based on
destroyed.
the pictures we're seeing online, and now people are actually coming out that saw the movie, said that it was not that bad. They were making it say it was unwatchable. They're saying that it was a fun movie. Clearly, it was a smaller budget movie, but it was a fun movie, and that the set pieces are the '89 Batman, like the clock tower and all of that. It's all there in that movie, and it just literally is not getting released.
That's so stupid.
I don't think it's
And
destroyed. Honestly, I don't.
I'm almost starting to think
see
now that the reason why they're not releasing it is because they decided to go with Clooney Batman at the end of this instead of
100%.
keeping Keaton
100%.
Batman. And that just makes me even more upset that they canceled it.
You know what else pissed me off about the Clooney scene? Yes, Ben Affleck kept a little stubble in and out of the suit. Michael Keaton's fully shaven. You could say the same for each, but can we really imagine Clooney in the bat suit with just that full white beard, just walking around, and people not recognize him? He doesn't disguise his voice. Hey, Train. He doesn't disguise his voice, as we can see from his films.
Yeah.
Film.
Didn't James Gunn put out a tweet saying that he is not the Batman from Brave and the
He isn't.
Bold?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that makes me think that they didn't do a good enough job explaining that the end of this movie is not the new DCU.
Exactly.
That's
Like,
why
I
I
think they
feel
needed
like
to make
it's
it
apocalypse.
they needed to make it very clear. Like, Barry messed the timeline up so bad, he just put himself in another timeline completely separate from everything else. And I think that's almost maybe a good thing in a way, so that we don't have to deal with a lot of that anymore. And maybe it's a good thing that we didn't see Supergirl pop up at the end of that, which means she can still be out there to come back, hopefully.
That might be a blessing in disguise,
Because
honestly.
exactly, like they need to bring her back.
I mean,
but-
putting Ezra Miller in timeline jail, that's funny for me.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just
that's
like he
hilarious.
messed things up so bad. He's just off in his own little timeline. That's the remnants of the DCEU, and we'll probably never see it again.
But do you know what I'm happy that we're never gonna see again?
Oh, it's a stylistic choice.
When he was saving the babies, and he did the split, and they did the split midair. Like I said, how are you doing that in that man-sized Magnum? Like how are you doing that?
We
Like-
thought about this last night though. The problem with this movie underperforming isn't just because of like the fact that it's a shame for some of the people involved, but like in terms of being a fan of the Flash, say goodbye to seeing a Flash movie for another decade.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
so fucked.
Yeah.
That's so bad. That's so sad.
Another Flash show?
Maybe.
Bring
I
Grant back is
You know what? Kid
Older
Flash show would
Barry
actually go hard.
I wonder what James
Yeah.
bring
Gunn's
back
gonna do.
Keenan.
I go
Yeah.
with Wally. Go with Wally.
I would watch a Keenan Londale
Go with Jay.
Wally West.
Oh, 100%.
Or like animated Flash movie.
Ooh,
Maybe.
yeah,
That
I
could
would
be
be
really
down for
cool.
that too.
That
Yeah,
could be really
would
cool.
good.
I'm
It's
just
such a
wondering
shame.
what the timeline would have been if the like original version for this Flash movie had come out. Like it was very much so like a more just centered story on just.
And it wasn't
very
Flashpoint.
yeah, it
original
wasn't
wasn't
Flashpoint. It was
supposed
like
to be
remember
about
those
the
those
road.
pictures
Ray
where he
Fisher.
was like and like he was just doing CSI work and stuff like that. Just
Captain
like
Cold,
a very
yeah.
just like
That was the
grounded
dream.
Flash story.
Do you remember that Flash suit from the concept that didn't have the white symbol
Yeah.
or anything?
Oh, it
I'm
looked
not
really
gonna lie,
good.
It
that
looked-
shit
it looked
was
good.
so good compared to what we got. Listen, I gotta know right now. When I was watching the movie, even with like scenes that didn't feel like there was a lot of CGI there, that suit took me out of every single scene I saw of it. What did you guys think about that the Flash suit? Because I could
I
not
thought-
stand it.
Did you see pictures without any CGI over it? Because when it's like the raw suit, it actually doesn't look too bad.
It's not bad.
But they tried to like MCU Spider-Man suit it and just like cover it in
Yeah.
CGI and like get rid of like wrinkles and like there's like a collar on the suit too, which actually kind of looks pretty cool. But it was very inconsistent and it kind of took me out of it a little bit. It was like, oh, he looks like the Michelin Man sometimes.
Yeah, when it was shot above here, it wasn't so bad. But like down towards the legs, there really is that gap of just nothing.
Yeah.
It's just red, and it looks awkward when it's like he's standing against like when the fans are like calling out to him in the beginning before the title card. He's just it's gray, it's beige, and then red.
And he's standing there like,
It just gave me like ick. It
I
gave
mean,
me
let's
the
just be
ick the
let's be
entire
honest
movie.
here. The season 9 Flash TV suit is the best live action Flash suit that we've ever had, and probably
damn
will
right.
have for a really
I
long
would
time.
Yeah, that and then like the 90s John
Yep.
Wesley ship suit
Those are the two.
is definitely
Those
up
are the
there as
two.
well.
what I will say about this suit is we finally got answers as to what all of those little circles were that were like on his arms, and we were wondering from like the comics or whatever, trying to figure out what that was. One was to control the cowl. One was to see. I like what the cowl did, the retracting and everything, knowing that it just one of those pull joints, because it would have took me out if the helmet looks plasticky and he could just giving me Flash season 5 vibes. I'm glad it did not do that. I loved it coming out the Flash ring when Young Barry did it, and he just like let it flop and hit the floor. I didn't think they needed to make a dick joke when Young Barry put the suit on. I'm like, of course it's gonna be tighter on you because it's not made for you, dog. Like,
There was
you're
a lot of
18.
like
This Barry is like what, mid-20s?
There was.
a lot
There
of poop
was.
jokes, a lot of sex jokes in this one.
Yeah,
and
I-
a lot of them just didn't hit as much as they
I
could have
was-
been.
I wasn't a fan of the comedy.
Like just some of the comedy was like when Barry lost his powers and he's just running and it's just you hear the squeak.
You gotta
That's
do
funny.
you gotta do the actual run. You can't
That's
do
funny.
you can't do the hummingbird run. You have to do the regular run.
Can we talk about the fact that the big joke in the first act was that the clothes phase off of him, and then they completely forgot that when they went into the Bat Cave, his clothes stayed on him. when he went
Yeah,
out.
you're so right. Yeah.
They should have just stayed on top of the little like manhole
Yep.
cover or whatever that was.
Yeah, but him like Young Barry not listening at all. That was that was hilarious because I'm like, Barry, this is what you wanted. This would have been you if you would have.
I have to say, one of the
your
funniest
mom.
scenes for me is when he's sitting at the table and he sees himself dancing in the street. I'm like, that looked so stupid, but it was so funny to me.
Yeah, when they did that like turn around and like
Yeah,
He's-
yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, that's
He
hilarious.
just picked over the trash cans. I'm like, bro, this is you. And honestly, I will say what I liked is like the whole West Allen of it all.
They were really
Knowing that his younger self in this alternate timeline actually went after Iris in college, actually did what he wanted to do. What was
But
so
Iris
wrong.
was an
But he-
afterthought in this movie.
Yeah.
A big time afterthought in this movie.
She was
Like,
also in the first part. I didn't like the way they made her. They made her seem like an ass.
Hey Lance, Chainsaw's trying to message you real quick. Just giving you that little.
Oh yeah,
I know you were excited.
jump in.
I did find it weird that she almost implied that she thought that Barry's dad actually killed
Yeah,
Nora.
that's
Like
what-
that was a little
that's
weird.
what
That was a
threw me
little off. I was like, are they really
Jump in,
doing that?
Chainsaw. It's the same link I sent you earlier. It was kind of like I was like when it did that, like I looked at my wife, I'm like, oh, Candace Patton me, please. But she redeemed herself. She redeemed herself in the end, you know.
I think Candace Patton is going to forever be Iris West.
Yeah.
For me, I can't imagine. someone else
Kiersey
playing that
needs
role.
more. She needed more screen time.
I agree.
And not assume that his father's a murderer. That would be
Yeah,
damn. Too.
I did send you a link, didn't I? I sent you one earlier. I thought I did.
Talking about like Nora's death
About
real
to send it
quick.
now.
I really wish we could have gotten just a bit of red lightning.
I'll send it.
Anything
Yes.
because as much as like okay, I see The Flash as a silly movie. Like I love campy stuff. Every time I've come on one of these streams, I talk about like I like camp. Like every once in a while, and like I have a Terrifier 2 poster right up here. That's camp. Okay, I don't know if y'all know that movie, but that shit's great. I like when
Band
movies
camp?
are whimsical. Like I like when
sent it.
movies have personality, right? But like I can't just excuse all the silly things that happen in this movie, even though I like them, when the entire crux of the movie makes no fucking sense. If Reverse Flash is the one who killed Nora, then that means Henry is just a Giga Chad that scares off the fucking god of speed. And like the moment he's around, like you're suddenly not going to kill Nora anymore. Like I don't understand that if Reverse Flash is actually the one who killed Nora, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And
and then why would you confirm that it was Reverse Flash and not show us? That pissed
Exactly.
me off. That really pissed me off because I wanted to see a Thawne in this movie. There was no real villain. Zod and Feora and that really big Kryptonian that kept killing Michael Keaton.
Honestly, what
Terrible.
bugged me is the fact that only tomatoes saves Nora's life.
This whole
Whether or not she,
spaghetti,
whether or not she
hey,
forgets
first,
or not.
spaghetti in this movie was like spaghetti is the hero. Spaghetti
It'd be
is
like
the hero.
Reverse Flash comes in and goes, "Oh, you have tomatoes? Okay, I'm going to be gone."
Also, they didn't really lean into the fact that Barry is biracial.
No, they have done with time.
I'm like, you could
Well,
have done like that would have been something different. Like you
I'm
cast a Spanish actress as his mom,
Yeah.
but you don't
dear
have
God.
him speaking any Spanish with her. We don't know. This entire time, I thought Barry was just, well, for lack of better terms, just your average white guy.
Well,
like
I was wanting to bring this up because you mentioned about how his mom was saved by a can of tomatoes. There's a big plot hole in this movie I don't think a lot of people are talking about. How does Barry making sure they have that extra can of tomatoes stop Reverse Flash from killing his mom?
That's what we want to know.
It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
It
doesn't
makes
make
no
because
sense.
All it does is, it doesn't send the father out. But Reverse Flash would not travel so far back in time and go, oh crap, he's not gone. Well, I guess I got to go back to my time.
that did not stop. That did not stop him in the TV show.
No,
And I thought it was weird too that Barry's doing all this time travel. He doesn't for 1 second think, "Oh, I wonder who actually killed my mom. Why don't
Oh
I
my
stop by the
God,
house
literally. And they
and
don't
just
e-
check
and
it
they
out,
don't
see
even-
what happened?" There was
They
no
don't-
hint.
they don't-
There was
there's
nothing.
no hint of anybody who does it. Because when you think about how fast Barry gets downstairs after hearing the screaming, there is no lightning, there is no rush of wind, nothing. It's like,
Nothing,
the guy just disappeared.
An
No, it just, like, the
MP3
knife just
sound would have been
teleported.
good. Like a whoosh would have
Yeah.
been.
I
What
was
if-
honestly expecting some sort of sign, or maybe like you hear something that would indicate Reverse Flash. The fact that they don't give you anything tells me they were trying to avoid it like the plague. Like, we're not even gonna even.
What
give
if
you a hint.
what if Reverse
Andy
Flash did
Muschietti
this?
has something against the show.
What if Reverse Flash did this and just stabbed her and then vanished?
I mean, it's possible, but in order
Stuck
for
his head out and went, "Oop."
but Thawne would not do that. Thawne is he is such an egomaniac. He is such a certain individual that he would not just poke his head in and go stab. He would love and just live in the moment, because he is going to be taking away the Flash's mom.
I mean, he's a master manipulator. He would
Yes.
maybe want Barry to know that he did it.
Oh,
He would need a it was me, Barry. Like,
Exactly.
we should have had
Oh,
something
man.
like that.
It was me, Barry. You're the reason.
Barry.
I'm the reason why Sing hates you at the crime.
That should have been the after.
I'm the
credits scene.
reason why.
That should have been the
You
after credits
suck.
scene.
Yeah.
Barry's stuck in the timeline, and he's just walking down. All of a sudden, everything's silent, and all of a sudden, here comes this guy. It was me, Barry. And then he's, who are you? Like, because he's not wearing a suit or whatever. Eddie Thawne, or whatever, Earbart Thawne. It's like, oh shit, and then it cuts.
Hey,
then,
but
You know what
like,
would have been really
guess
cool?
guess who the actor would be?
Ezra
Tom
Miller.
Cavanaugh.
Oh,
No, just
He
imagine
ripped
how
off the face.
just imagine how meta that would be. He would say, "Yeah, I heard you met another Flash. I just want to come over here and ruin your life as well."
that would be interesting. Oh my god, the Reverse Flash from Earth Prime's timeline comes over because he found out that Barry met another Barry and went to his Earth.
something I thought that would have been kind.
And
it's
plus,
kind of an
this
idea.
Barry is a spaz.
What if Joe
Wait.
Joe from Batman Begins stabbed his parents?
I just
That
jumped
is
back in,
fair.
but is there a plot issue here with like the Ezra Barry never meeting our Barry? Because obviously that would have been
Yeah.
something that
Because
would
he
have been-
has the name, like he has
Right.
the name, so it's like
And the fact that he has a different suit, so it kind of retcons that.
no, it
In
doesn't.
my opinion,
It doesn't
Well,
retcon it because
what-
he
because
got
he
it.
would have to go back in time.
No,
to
he
get
wouldn't.
that-
No,
to
he
get his
wouldn't.
suit.
That's why I said you needed to
Why
read
would-
the tie-in comics. That happened after. He was calling himself the Flash in the old suit in the tie-in comics before it got destroyed because he fought Girder. He fought Girder in the tie-in comics, destroyed that suit. We see the destroyed suit in his apartment.
So
He was calling himself the Flash
in that
in
scene,
that tie-in comic, in the prequel
yeah, but
comics.
they're not addressing it in the movie. Oh, he's just the Flash now. There's
Yeah,
no like,
they're-
well, I
Right.
met another
They-
version
They're
of
not addressing
himself.
it.
what they've expected is, oh, we put out a tie-in comic.
Well,
Everybody went and read the tie-in
no, but
comic.
there's a bigger thing, right? Why was Barry so surprised about what he can do when it comes to like traveling through the multiverse when he's already done it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the question
Yeah.
is, how did
Well,
he
it's
get-
just the thing of the chrono ball. That's why I've said it's dumb that he.
How would he know?
Animated
How would he
changed
not
so
know about the
much.
Chrono universe and the Speed Force if he would have never have met our Barry Allen from the Flash TV show? Because how else would he have done that without knowing how to do it already?
He changed
and-
so like, and that's why I said Eddie Muschietti. He changed so much. That's why I hate when it's when you go from a. That's why they shouldn't have done the Justice League films until they gave everybody a solo film, because now all these different directors have all these different ideas. Wonder Woman's flying in this movie after she flew in the other Wonder Woman movie, but they already met. And the other it's the same thing with that because she
that
didn't learn
breaks
how
the
to
whole-
fly till Wonder Woman 89.
that breaks
So
the
it's
whole,
the same thing.
that breaks the whole continuity even more, because when you think about it, you know that the higher ups at Warner Brothers begged Ezra to be in the crossover. So there was never going to be an explanation of how he's just in Star Labs randomly during when our Barry's going through time. So they were never going to address it. It was
He
just
shouldn't
like,
have been.
we're
He shouldn't
forcing-
have been existing in the first place.
And
Yeah.
time,
The multiverse was destroyed.
and he
So
time
how is he
traveled
even
in
there?
the Justice League.
Yeah.
He accidentally time traveled
Yeah,
in
he
the
did.
Justice
Yeah,
League.
well, they're not calling that canon, but it's weird because this movie is technically making that canon, because I was
We
like,
talk
did I
about-
see you a couple years ago? I mean, no, it wasn't me, but in the Snyder cut, he saved her in that gigantic sequence.
Yeah, and he also the
He
fact
also
that
gave away his secret identity to her without.
and
He also
yeah.
time travel in BVS too.
Yeah. And that is very different than what he was doing in the movie here, because in this, there's like this rush of wind or whatever, because he's traveling back all this time, like Lois is the key. It's like, okay, Andy Muschietti should have looked at that and went, okay, so because he's taken from Man of Steel, the same director at PBS, going, okay, so the way he's traveling through time, it looks a certain way. I should probably try to make it at least look like that when he's going to jump through a portal or
I
jump
guarantee
through
you,
time.
on those running scenes, I think he was on a exercise bike because it looks like his feet are going backwards, and that kept throwing me. I'm like, bro, how are
Yeah,
How
because
are
he's
you
moving
doing
so
that?
fast, but he's like walking.
Yeah, I'm like,
Like,
how
it's
are you
weird.
doing that? Like, it's
They
weird.
reversed
How
the
would-
footage. They
how
just
did
reversed
he
the
even?
film.
Why
It
would
was
he
me, Barry. I
stop?
reversed the footage.
If he
It's me, Barry. I prefer.
and the fact that he actually stops in the spear, I'm like, that should throw you out right there.
Yeah, because he's like standing there looking at everything and possibilities and going, Okay, like yeah, realistically, he's not moving anymore. So
We talk about how Dark Flash has yeeted him. Like I was
Yeah.
expecting. Why did you push him? Like, bro,
But that's
if
what I
you're
mean.
that
Where
big
did he
of a
come
jerk,
from?
Why didn't
Where
you
did he come
punch
from?
He
Where was he?
He was parkouring off the tiers of the Coliseum. I'm like, aren't you interfering in time right now? Like you're touching stuff, like you're jumping.
Well, that's
like
the-
I think he
that's
pushed
the-
Henry Cavill out the way at one point to get down.
That's the version of Barry that has been through what hundreds upon thousands of trials and errors of trying to save both of the superheroes, Batman. Supergirl, that
How many Batmen has he changed?
I mean, yeah, more likely he probably came across the George Clooney several times.
Oh my
probably came across
God!
Val Kilmer.
You guys,
He ran into Robert
you
Pattinson.
guys.
Yeah,
We talked about the fact people were saying that maybe they were locked into that battle, right? And that's why they had to keep doing the same one over and over again. But then how did Dark Flash go all the way back and knock the other Barry out to make sure that he was created if he couldn't do that? Which means he could have traveled further back in time. So why the fuck was he even doing that battle over and over again?
Yeah,
And
because
why did he go back
That's
to do
a
that
really
in the
good
first place?
point.
Lock Barry
he
in there if
he
it
could've
didn't.
went-
I mean,
could've
because
went back
he
to
had to
Paradox.
start his loop somehow,
Yeah.
somewhat similar
He
to
had to make
Savitar.
sure that
but
You're telling
like,
me
would
one
get
day
impaled
He
with
was
all
like, fuck, that attempt didn't work. Oh shit, I gotta make sure I exist. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because he could easily go back to the Batcave because they leave the Batcave to go to the fight.
Yep.
Go there and say, look, I know this is not going to make any sense, but I have been attempting several attempts to save both of you, and I can't. So we
Right.
have to strategize because Zod's going to kill you, Supergirl, no matter what. Like, Bruce, you're going to die somehow, some way. Like, there's got to be another way. There's got to be other heroes on that Earth that could join in on this fight, I would think.
I mean, even so, like not even bringing other heroes, it would have been much more interesting to be outside of the fucking Chrono Bowl and doing that. Like, go back to the Batcave, give us a whiteboard, have them like do that like Avengers Endgame shit where
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
all right, what do we do here? And Keaton can like make references.
Yeah.
How can like she can get more screen time. That would be good. But like something I wanted to talk about earlier, but there's a lot of us. It's very hard to get ideas out there.
Yeah.
I think an interesting
This is
way
fun,
to
though.
like, oh, it is. It's so much fun. But a way to incorporate Reverse Flash is like the Chrono Bowl scene where you have younger Barry get killed by himself and the loop closes. Barry goes to do his thing. It would have been interesting if after all that was said and done, the sand had settled. You have Reverse Flash being like, and see what you fucking did, Barry. Was it worth it? Was it worth saving your mom? Because now I get to kill her again.
And it's Matt
And he's
Ledger.
like, no, I'm just saying, like, you don't even have to like do the whole connection to him. Barry doesn't have to have an emotional connection to him right now. You could just be like, you haven't even questioned who killed your mom, dude. I've been here the whole time watching you fuck everything up. I didn't even have to do anything. And now you're gonna let me kill your mom.
The
That's
movie
kinda-
literally,
That's
The
kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie. That's
the
a cool
movie could have
introduction.
literally opened up with Thawne after the whole Justice League kind of, Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot scene of him going, I'm your Bart Thawne, and I hate you in the future. Like, he could literally just, like, I'm going to go fuck with Barry. I'm going to go mess with him. And then that could start the whole thing. I can travel back.
Exactly.
Because-
It doesn't have to be a linear story from Thawne's perspective. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
You can introduce that to the audience that, oh, this is non-linear. This man ain't a part of our timeline. He's an anomaly, basically.
Mhm. Yeah.
We should be afraid of the Reverse Flash
Yes.
because he doesn't follow the rules
It
that our
was-
Barry has to learn in the movie. I feel like there's a way to do
Yeah.
it, but
It was
you're
so
right.
much
It did
that
seem like they
could
were
have
scared
done.
of him. Like they
It-
wanted to stay away.
It was
There was
so
another
much
weird
they could
thing.
have done.
Like the weird thing was Barry, the older Barry, had to give younger Barry powers because then he would never come back in time. But we'd already established at that point that things were really fucked up.
Yeah.
So he should have known at that point that Barry didn't need to have powers because it isn't the same timeline.
Yeah,
And if
right?
that's
He was in a
always,
different
like,
timeline.
Oh my God, that doesn't make. So you mean it? So they're trying to tell us that Dark Flash is Flashpoint Barry, but Flashpoint Barry is also regular Barry. Because
Yes.
how in the hell are they going to get their speed on the same day?
Exactly.
So
So Dark Flash
technically-
pushed him out on the exact day that they got powers at 18. It doesn't make sense.
So technically, if Dark Flash actually understood that they were in a completely separate timeline to save Batman and Supergirl, you technically could have just not allowed your younger self to get powers, and then this loop doesn't even start,
Exactly.
and none of this has to happen.
Yep.
But then we don't have a movie, so
How the hell
we got to
did-
throw logic out.
Well,
Because at that point, he hadn't won. He was still fighting over and over and over
Yeah.
again. So why would you do that?
Well,
How the hell did younger Barry not just go to another fucking timeline himself?
Yeah, so if they're saying,
Like,
okay,
how did he not just run out
I
and do the
don't.
exact same thing?
Yeah, if they're saying that the younger Barry not getting powers closes the loop, then okay, Zod showing up means that there is no chance, right? Because Kara's still stuck in the Russian prison. Bruce is still retired. So essentially they had to, I guess is what the movie's saying, is they had to, because in order for us to have some sort of a chance for the plot to move forward to the point, okay, our original Barry needs to go back and stop all this. But oh god, it's just confusing.
Also,
but
couldn't
Dark Flash come? So Dark Flash at that point, technically, he wasn't really an enemy of Barry anyway. Like he wasn't an enemy of Barry. So he could have came back and had a conversation with Barry and goes, "Look, if you do this, it's gonna fuck everything up. So you need to go back to this point because I've been the Flash a lot longer than you, and I'm telling you this is how we have to fix it." Instead, he ambiguously comes in and yeets him, and then leaves him there.
Yeah, doesn't explain anything, just does it. And my wife. Like, who is that? I'm like, I don't know. And then we find out
Jay
later,
Garrick
like,
him
okay,
without the explanation.
Yeah, I mean, I think
just
the
went, whoop.
point that the film was trying to get across was that you can't fix everything, you can't save every timeline, and I think at the end of the day, this timeline, this universe was doomed from the start, no matter what. And I think that was kind of like the moral that they were trying to get across, but it was just very convoluted and very inconsistent the way that we got there.
The end of the movie told me it's basically the same way that the TV show did and the same way that the original comic book story did. Yeah. No matter what happens, it's still all gonna go to shit. So like, it's no way around that. And I get that.
I would just argue that Dark Flash was probably unnecessary.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at here. I don't think that character was unnecessary. I think they could have had that same trauma between young Barry and older Barry in the chronosphere without ever introducing Dark Flash. There could have been another issue there between the two of them. Because having the Dark Flash and younger Barry, who are essentially the same character in the same chronosphere at the same time, creates a weird mindfuck for me. Because I don't know how that even happens, to be completely honest.
Yeah, or they could have easily just gave more explanation to what is the purpose of Dark Flash. The whole purpose, it's just younger Barry now. He's completely lost his mind, and he's continuously going through the same loop. But what is, like, I guess the accomplishment, like it was said that you can't fix everything. And of course we see at the end of the film, Barry doesn't. He thinks he does, but he doesn't fix everything. But it's like, okay, so I guess the whole point is like, well, Barry, this is gonna end up being you at some point if you get stuck in a loop that you can't.
What about older Barry though? Wouldn't there technically be an older Barry who was also still existing with Dark Flash?
Yeah, because that's like a Barry that's way further into, like,
which is why him existing in the chronosphere from those two doesn't make any sense.
There should be a version of him too, but
unless Dark Flash killed him out somewhere.
Would he be emo though?
Maybe.
Yes. Hair in his face. I hate life.
Guys, listen. Let's get the hashtag going. Release the Andy cut.
Well, the 4-hour cut. Let's go. 4 hours. Let's go.
I might as well
too.
He's saying this is the best version of the film. I want to see the version that has all the cameos, because apparently there's more cameos that were just cut for no reason.
Wait, what do you mean? There was more?
Apparently.
Yeah. Apparently, Grant Gustin was supposed to be.
Let's use the Teddy Sears, Hunter Zolomon.
Linda Carter was going to have a cameo,
but it's not even actually Teddy Sears, is it? Like
I know.
That's
it
like
just looks
AI
like
Flash.
And
I don't know how true
they
this
put him
is.
in that suit. That's the Teddy Sears suit, even if it doesn't really look like him. That's the suit from season 2.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Taz?
Oh no, I was watching Kevin Smith's breakdown of everything, and he said that he had heard that Grant Gustin filmed something, or that he was going to film something. I don't know how true that is, but
that rumor was around for a while. But there were some sources that were saying, Grant, after shooting season 8 of The Flash, went and shot for the film.
Motherfucker.
So, of course, and on top of that, we had found out that Linda Carter was supposed to be Wonder Woman in a cameo. Obviously, this is all pretty much going to be CGI, but it's like we only get CGI cameos. And the Nick Cage,
what I don't understand
could have done anything.
Is the living people could have done cameo, like real living people could have done cameos.
There's people bring the dead to life.
Brandon
He's
Routh.
talking about some. This is how it will look to Barry in the Speed Force. No, it wouldn't.
You could have just
because
used
we've
stock
seen
footage.
it already.
And did you guys hear that Helen Slater, Supergirl from the Supergirl film,
she actually
shot her cameo
shot
and
stuff.
they de-aged her into CGI?
And I think Nick Cage shot stuff too.
Yeah, Nick, that still looks kind of CGI, but they actually shot him. But when you compare it to everything else, it looks kind of CGI.
Like, speaking on the Nick Cage shit, let's just be real for a second. Can we just be really honest? Look at all of our backgrounds. Now, Chainsaw, I know you're on vacation, but like, listen, our backgrounds, Like, I don't know if Winnie the Pooh's in the DCEU or not, but he
Could be.
Could be. But we're nerds. Look at our backgrounds. We're nerds.
I'm on vacation.
Who the fuck in the general audience is
Not
gonna be
a
like,
nerd.
I understand that reference with Nicolas Cage? Because
Yeah,
no
that's-
one is going
Yeah.
That's
no
the
one
one. That,
is going to get that.
it's
My
such
wife,
a,
my
it's
wife
such a
asked
deep
me,
cut.
why is he fighting a giant spider?
Why is he
I said
fighting a
it's
spider?
a long story.
Why not? I don't know. Why not have like Tyler Hoechlin's Superman flying around in
Exactly.
there or
That
something
would've
like
been
that?
sick.
Well, Brandon
He
Routh.
doesn't get successful.
Brandon Routh in his Kingdom Come suit. That
Yeah.
would have
Exactly.
been
Andy does
amazing.
not
So
does not
good.
respect the TV shows. Like that's
It's
No.
because their suits look better.
Yes,
talking about
true.
the TV show.
Well,
Hummingbird,
also too,
wow.
it's like it's clear they only wanted to really feature cameos of super characters, Superman, or other
Batman.
versions.
They
Yeah, like,
love the super characters.
Could you
except
imagine
Davel.
if
Yeah.
Grant showed up as Barry
Yes.
with the other Barry in the new suit, and he's like, "Oh, you've changed. You
That
upgraded
would've
since
been
last time I
cool.
saw you."
Yeah.
Or whatever. That would have been really
Integration.
neat.
I can see Grant showing up. Barry, what did you do? I've done this too. I've ran back. I tried to say.
God damn it,
Can't-
Barry.
Barry.
Oliver
He's
was
doing-
right.
You
Can
did.
you,
Then he
can you
sees Dark
imagine?
Flash.
Can you imagine a
Don't.
scene with Grant's Barry talking to Ezra's Barry, explaining towards the end of the film, I did the same thing you did, and this
Yeah.
is what happened to me. And I think that would have been
Yeah.
so impactful for even
The
if
whole-
you're not really a Flash show
Oh,
fan.
Yeah.
sure. You could even
Yeah.
still do the bar post credits.
Yeah,
Scene. You just have
that-
them do.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah.
Barry
Where
and
the
Barry in a bar.
hell
No,
is
That's
have, no,
Spectre?
cool.
no, to make it like full circle and to like, I would even say have it be Barry and have it be Jay Garrick.
Mm.
Yeah.
Both of them. Have Jay do the cup explanation and have Barry say how many times he has messed up the timeline throughout the years. How he has a daughter that's been and just have this DCU Barry just like freaking out like he normally does.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think this is going to be the DCU Barry after this
No,
weekend.
no.
No.
This,
Definitely not.
No.
this is a Elseworlds movie. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they're going to label it as
Yeah,
Elseworlds.
well, because
I'm
James
pretty
Gunn
sure.
James Gunn already confirmed the Brave and the Bold Batman has not been cast, which confirms
Right.
George Clooney's not
Yeah.
returning.
It's
And
like-
apparently Blue Beetle is a DCU character, but it's not a DCU movie.
If
So I'm not
it's
sure.
I'm so
successful,
confused by that.
Yeah.
If it bombs, it's not. They're not going to bring him back.
I mean,
Sorry.
they've been dropping bomb after bomb
Yeah.
after bomb because who in there Zaslav in his infinite idiocy says, you know what? We have all these films coming down the line.
Oh,
Let's
the
announce
movie-
let's
the
announce
numbers
our
are
reboot.
actually lower. They've gone down.
Yep.
They lost like 5 million in sales. They overshot. So
And they and without production budget, they spent 150 million on marketing.
yeah.
And this
That was so dumb.
do they have like backups on backups? Because this 10-year plan seems like it's failing.
Let me just say this. You know, I don't like to harp on the numbers, but when a movie doesn't make back at the very least its production budget,
Yeah.
then that's a problem because this movie costs like 220 million to make after everything is said and done.
Mhm.
And we're not even at that yet after the opening weekend. That
Oh,
is
God, man.
really,
And, well,
really,
also
really
too,
bad.
like 1/3 of the theaters keep the ticket sales. So even if they hit the 200 million, they're still not going to be getting that back.
right.
Yeah.
The movie, it's a disaster. They're
I
going to
don't-
lose probably hundreds of millions of dollars on this movie.
Show of hands, who thinks this movie is going to reach 500 million?
Oh hell no! I'd
No.
be so surprised.
If it passes Black Adam at 400 million, I'll be shocked at this point
Yeah.
because it should have made at least 300 to 400. opening
My local
weekend.
theaters, Paigey and I looked last night. My local theaters on Friday night in the 8 o'clock time slot, there are seats in Across the Spider-Verse. It's almost full again. There are seats in Transformers. There are seats in Little Mermaid. There are seats in Elemental, and there are seats in Fast X. There were no seats sold for The Flash on Friday night.
Yikes. But guys, it is almost time for Superman and Lois.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor
Yes.
is tonight. Like finally,
Woo! I'll be singing
Let's-
tomorrow. Woo!
Yeah, me too. Tomorrow.
let's just enjoy these last two episodes with the full
Yeah.
cast. Let's pour one out for John Henry Irons.
Rip.
But like I said, the movie, it was not bad, but it's not without its plot holes. I still give it an 8 because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the jokes. But it is undeniably a flop for Warner Brothers. So many things going against this film, from Ezra and those controversies to
Damn you, Rock.
Yeah.
It's always his
Did it
fault.
flop worse
From,
than Black Adam?
yeah, I think so.
The
Yeah.
hierarchy of power did change.
From
Not the way
I
they thought.
who thought it was a brilliant idea? Yeah, we have 3 more films coming out this year. Let's announce a reboot at the top of the year. Who thought that was smart?
Oh, and also
Zaslav.
let's cancel Batgirl because we're going to protect DC. Yet each film coming out since then has
Boy,
been hurting the
it's-
brand.
hey,
Batgirl would have
coming
been
up
way
on a
more
year.
profitable.
It's coming up on a
I'm-
year since that film was
Yep.
canceled, and I still it still blows my mind.
Protect-
I'm waiting for the link, guys. It's gonna happen.
Oh,
What-
yeah, somebody better
the
leak
DC
that.
brand. Oh yeah, the DC brand is protected because that movie was canceled. Oh sure, Black Adam heard it. The Flash heard it. Shazam 2 heard it. Man,
Their logic is
too.
like the Flash is the greatest superhero movie of all time, but Batgirl sucked. Bull fucking shit. I bet
Batgirl
Batgirl is a 10 out of 10.
Keaton and Frasier in it. Keaton
Yep.
and Frasier in it.
There's
What a
some
dumb
J.K.
fucking
Simmons as well.
It would have
After
made more
Frasier
money
won
than The
that
Flash has
Oscar.
made so
Yeah.
far.
after
100%.
Frasier won that Oscar, Warner Bros was like, "Oh shit, we screwed up."
Yeah, that was so dumb.
James
Yeah,
Gunn
that
is
was
like,
so dumb.
James Gunn is like, I still stand by this is the best DC film ever made. Stop, bro. Just stop. The same way we told David Ramsey to shut up. James Gunn. James Gunn. Shut up. Just stop talking. Stay off of Twitter. Stop talking. Focus on Superman Legacy.
6 out of 10.
And just make that good. just make that good. Like we finally got a Flash film. We're not gonna have another one for quite some time. Let me go back and watch the CW show. I'll be happy with that. I'll skip season 5 partially. I'll skip the first half of season 7 all the way, and I'll watch episode 9 and 10 of season 9, and I'll just say that's when the show ended for me. And it'll cleanse my palate. I thought Ezra's running was abysmally hilarious. Young Barry ran better than older Barry. I don't know why Andy Muschietti said he hates hummingbird style, but yet you have Ezra running like an idiot cheesing, doing hummingbird style.
And let's the whole pause. I'm like, Zoom could just grab your neck and take you.
Yeah,
across
why
the
does he
shoulder.
charge up like that? I don't get it. Just run, bro. And he didn't in the Zack Snyder films, it wasn't a pose. It was just like a stand still and peel.
Yeah, just and gone.
But I do feel like James Gunn will handle the Speed Force lightning better because Barry, you can put a hole through somebody's chest with how much lightning you release.
Yeah.
I want Grant Gustin to teach him how to control that lightning. Grant Gustin's Barry, just send your Nora Allen over there and she's like, my beautiful baby boy. Or would she say monkey? Would she call him monkey?
Yeah.
Yo, wait a minute. What if? All right, just hear me out. You know how Batman Brave and the Bold is giving us the Bat family for the first fucking time?
Yep.
What if we get a Flash project and it's actually got Flash people in it? Hold on. We might not get a standalone. We're not going to get a standalone Flash movie probably ever again. Give me just a Flash family movie then, like a legacy movie.
I'll
that
take
shit
it.
would be sick. That shit would be awesome. Because
just take note from what Young Justice did, where they had Bart, Barry, and
exactly,
and Jay Garrick doing a whole episode together. Yeah.
That would be just so nice. I'm trying to be optimistic about this character because it's such a shame because a lot of the Barry Allen stuff is cool in the movie, but it's there's so much dog shit around it that I can't enjoy it all the way. It doesn't look good, it doesn't smell good, it doesn't taste good, but it's all right.
Do we need to go? I'm not sure what time it is.
Oh yeah,
we got 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes. But I want to thank the guys for jumping on and just discussing this. We'll be back Monday. Normal time frame. We'll be talking about Superman and Lois. We might harp on this movie again just to see how the box office is doing. But guys, thank you all again. This was fun.
Thank you for having me.
I had thanks to my special guest and thanks to the originator for jumping in with his now green beard. Who knows what color it will be tomorrow. But my Flash review, Jesus, not my Flash review.
Don't make him angry. Don't make him angry.
My Superman and Lois review will be posted tomorrow, and I will finally upload my next side-by-side comparison. Now that my voice is back. I sounded like a horse.
Barbie, let's go party.
All right. See you guys. 3 dubs.
Goodbye.
Bye.